say to an actor when you take the stage, like prepare the ideas? And do your feelings get hurt when the director says, nah, I don't want any of that, or no?
It depends.
It depends how they say it, how they do it, or
yeah, right. It's kind of like that. It's kind of, and also the atmosphere. It's sometimes it's real awkward and it's uncomfortable for everyone for whatever reason. But sometimes it's real. It feels collaborative, and they want ideas, and everybody's fine with being told no. No, we're not looking for that. Okay, great. Moving on. No hard feelings. And but yeah, I've experienced both. You know, sometimes it feels like you're getting wrapped on the nose, and so you're less likely to come in with more ideas. You know.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like directors rather need to be aware of how they, from a psychological standpoint, embrace or don't embrace an actor's idea, because if there's a harsh reaction, the actor does, I think, feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't suggest anything.
Yeah, right. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to.
This guy just knocked
yeah.
This guy just punched a bowl of Fruit Loops out of my hands when I said maybe I should play it. So I'm done.
Yeah, and I like Fruit Loops. There's always going to be Fruit Loops in my hand.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. And look, I think most performers want to be respected for their craft, and I think if the no is delivered with respect, you know.
Well, and I do. It's also just this: is this a collaborative atmosphere or is it a dictatorship? And I understand that ultimately it is a dictatorship on it. You know, on a film anyway. The director is the boss, and that's what I'm there for, to do what he says. I was just working on this little film last fall, and the guy, it's real clear. I'm here to help you. And if I've got these ideas, if you don't want them, I'm totally fine with that. And the guy was great. We ended up working really well together. And he's like, no, don't do that. And then he had to tell me a few times there you go, do less. And I thought I'm doing nothing. He's like, yeah, do less.
Well, I think the less sometimes really opens up questions and possibilities in the mind of the audience. Like, it was more fun when you saw movies where not every detail was sort of telegraphed or explained to you, and you kind of had to theorize what an actor was maybe doing in a scene or thinking in a scene. So I'm kind of like an old school guy like that, I think, where I could appreciate somebody maybe doing just whatever like a great example was kind of what was going through John Belushi's mind in Animal House in certain scenes where he'd like just suddenly stop moving. You know, and then he'd sometimes be very expressive. Maybe again, that's not the best example, but were you allowed, like, to use a performance of yours I recently saw where you're a principal character and also one, I think, charged with the responsibility of lightening the mood?
That's how I saw it, right? On occasion, lightening the mood. And then, but it was all written by Jon Favreau. So he was great. He's like, I go, here's some ideas. If you like them, you don't like them. And it was both. Sometimes he'd say, yep. And sometimes he'd go, well, I think we're good as it is. And but it always felt like everything's welcome. And Rodriguez too, always felt like, and Filoni directed too. It always felt like everything's welcome.
Can you give us an example of some things you suggested that they used where your improv background came into play, where maybe you did also give us an example of something that wasn't used?
I don't remember something that, I guess in the way I was playing something, it wasn't used. The way I was doing this one scene, after they ended the car chase, when they catch me, I was delivering it. He's with he's gone. He's with the Turks, right? Or not the Turks. He's not
the Turks to us.
Yeah, he's not around. And I was delivering it in one way, and Robert Rodriguez said, like, basically the last take, he's like, this time just say it. And I did, and that's the one they used. So that's one. And then the other side, what they did use was sometimes I just change little words or make them, because I figure the way it was written is this guy's, he likes language. And so I just added and changed a few things within it was all written really well. And I just occasionally just a little word here and there. That was it.
Well, it's fun because it's a character where you're like, is this character fucking with them, or is he like really does he care that he's rude? Is he sensitive to that, or does he not care that he's that guy? Or like there's been so many like Hallmark performances or roles where there's that doorkeeper, and it's interesting to see different actors take different approaches. And yours was I thought was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, man, it was the highlight of the show for me personally. Man. And it's true, there's a personal investment there, but you really want your friends to do well, and you're glad when they do. But I was like, this guy's actually got the best moments. They're given, like when you walk out before the final big cyclone of chaos starts, the spaghetti Western action starts to go down, and you're like, okay, we've got our terms or whatever it is. And you start going down the list. And I was thinking like, he's probably had that highlighted in his script, David, for weeks, knowing this is going to be fun to do, this moment where I get to kind of, all the guns are on me or whatever, the standout, and I get to kind of mouth off to the point where it's like, and anyway, that was my interpretation watching the scene. Yeah. And maybe you just showed up on Tuesday and said, oh, I'm doing that again. Okay, let's do it real quick. I don't know.
I think that was one of the last things we shot in the season.
Yeah.
Right. It was all, we shot parts of that scene earlier on, but that final speech, I think, was one of the last things I did. And that was really fun. I was looking forward to it all along.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.